Hello, dear America, dear United States News. This is about elections hacking. For example, we have people getting caught for things since founding, needing to get caught per what's motivating them actually, but through juxtaposed other motivations, natures, needs, interests. For example, Russians and Americans were already in collusion right through administrations, then through the Obama administration. In through the Obama administration with various natures of racketeering, including attaching little kids to fake locations, intercities through time, interbranch, intercampuses of various natures and ages, involved with database racketeering, vertical and horizontal. So David Axelrod said on CNN that noted that they want to cite things, so they have to be able to cite things. Those things they're citing are in databases involved with a vertical and horizontal database racketeering, where they do bonded um illusions in conjunction with it being stacked into databases criminally to exploit it through time down the road, vertically and horizontally. They're stacking databases with racketeering acts and roles. Then when investigations come around for what really tied to what is really keeping the overt criminal enterprises recorded, how kept needing to hide the same sequence shifts, the same order of the finite lies, the order of active lies, the order to progressives value lies, and identity racketeering lies. Science never spoke for areas. There is racketeering involved with the quality of human fact sheet nature. It's all right, people have opinions. People have opinions, but since founding, you guys are preventing free speech offensively, stealing us to fake words so you can pretend other misprision. You are communicating other than as you actually communicate, and you're pretending other because you guys are victims for your sources interbranch. Whole bunch of people with Connecticut campuses from my town interbranch, on off the state to judicial branch offices, on off the state prison offices, involved with database racketeering recorded with the databases, involved with child offenders right through administrations, not by accident. It's telling they actually recorded women motivation roles for it interbranch, speaking through men criminally, confessing, demonstrating since they're young. Roles with vertical and horizontal database racketeering, fake recorded things into databases. Now these are nations criminally. We have Russian families. I don't know all the names of them, but they repeated confessions tied to the ones I only know the name of. I remember had words with him since sixth grade. Repeated things about his family associated with Russia, but he was also demonstrating involved with people around with the fire departments, with Russians and with Weathersfield police, interbranch police, intercities police forms retired and standing, judges and their family members retired and standing. Further involved criminally with the campuses, with houses next to them, uses of that. Whole bunch of people with the trade center, whole bunch of people with CCSU involved with David Axelrod, with database racketeering, former director of the FBI down, right through administrations. And now, see, these are former director of the FBI, former Robert Luskin. Now, they have, I don't know, they have the names Robert, they have the names Robert Mueller and Comey involved with media that attach me and other people to fake locations, people that are recorded still being abused by and worse racketeering methods and identity thefts and frauds and identity racketeering sequence shifts with the news. WFSB is racketeering interbranch, intercampuses, interstates, intercities first. Then, leading up to the Trade Center attack context, proven afterwards was post-dated documents. They were shown to the panel of judges right before the Trade Center attack. That proven led to a 2006 case with a whole bunch of federal criminals as the co-defendants of, and tied to the co-defendants of a former director of the FBI, Robert Luskin, in the 2006 Connecticut case, after the proven post-dated documents had been shown to the panel of judges in the Ninth Circuit, right next to the Trade Center, right before the attack. They had been post-dated from inside the court to appear late. So that proven led to the 2006 part. Now we're in Connecticut in a district court case. People leading up to and in that case were involved with racketeering uses, confessed, recorded, and demonstrated of Hartford courts, their family members, on and off the state judicial branch offices, on and off the state prison offices already. Now then there were, these are the same people. Further crimes with criminal uses of depositions, of spots with it, criminal uses of evidence reception and perception. They have on and off CCSU, on and off Trinity College, on and off UConn, involved with a whole bunch of nations, involved with racketeering, with mental diagnosis and things, and tricks with fact cheating nature, where they exploited already exceptions to the law they're not supposed to exploit. They're already using statutes with criminal foreign influence, with physical delusions juxtaposed with criminal foreign influences and behavior racketeering roles. And so we have no experts on logic. We have no experts on behavior, not delusions wrought criminally foreign influence. That's recorded on a mass scale misprision, and having already been originally instilled with the sciences this way. Like, for example, the forced glorification of of zoning laws and of other phenomena of associated with worse than impositions, blamed other things, others like criminally foreign influence zoning laws involved with the fact cheating nature, torture, and slavery of our founding fathers, forced glorified. See, now they have behavioral racketeering. They have excuses for everything, not by accident. The real motivations that keep states and areas criminally foreign influenced. We have further Wethersfield town offices involved with people with the Justice Department. A whole bunch of people tied to a Natalie Walters. I don't know her family's name. Chris Walters, recorded, confessed. A whole bunch of people with Trinity College associated with an Iowa family, associated with a Kerr family, a DeMoro family, with racketeering with interbranch family members, foreign and domestic overt criminal enterprises, and their roles with sexual circles. Their roles as complete strangers that I only know from context. They make confessions to me. I never had a class with Joe DeMoro. I never had a class with, and I explained the exception. He came to my class in 5th grade. That's also recorded. That was also a whole bunch of ways as recorded, confessed, and demonstrated through time. We have the colleges and universities involved with further criminally with the principal sex offenders campus, then and now. And see, they attach me to fake words with WFSB to hide this. These are CNN sources with the intelligence community associated with CCSU, associated with I have foreign and domestic military sources confessed, recorded, and demonstrated to me involve racketeering roles with uses of deans, wire crime, mail crime clicks, worse, their family members, fire departments, their family members, leading up to and then in the Trade Center attack, criminally from Connecticut. The same ones involved with that, those criminal uses of the ground, they were involved with vertical and horizontal database racketeering when I was a kid. Like, to I don't know, O'Brien family. I never had a class with them. They recorded, confessed, and demonstrated. Sought me out to make the demonstration about their roles with what is interbranch racketeering with evidences, pretending to perceive things, pretending things are recorded, attaching people to fake locations and sequence roles. Everyone speaking through other criminally using that. Now, those are people involved with various natures of departments at CCSU, distinctly and non-distinctly involved with racketeering roles with a whole bunch of names at New Britain Superior Court, Hartford courts, people tied to them, one-way reports, people, uses of private attorneys, uses of state's attorneys, uses of long-standing prosecutors, newer ones from my town and or tied to them, all these people involved with racketeering, a whole bunch of people tied to prison cliques, the leaderships of them, various departments at CCSU, other campuses. Now they have a whole bunch of people that through time were involved with their on and off campuses relations, like downtown Hartford clubs involved with racketeering, with mail crime cliques, wire crime cliques, on and off Fox Connecticut News, on and off WFSB, with racketeering leading up to and in the Trade Center attack, leading up to in the 2006 case, leading up to and in other cases, before that and after it. Now there are further racketeering roles with this, with child sex offenders right through administrations. The recorded uses of Me Too, for example, to pretend they're against things that they further attaching little roles, attaching little kids to fake locations, fake conversations, fake relationships to other people through time. Interbranch retired and standing, including women. Crimes of the principal sex offenders campus also has ones further with connections next to campuses by the with businesses with houses next to them with connections involved with the racketeering here. Also, we brought up the child offenders, which is untimely deaths, and there's a whole bunch of police forms forging names, switching names, then pretending they're doing humor and things like that with a guy who used the name Darth Vader with Trinity College. Also recorded, confessed, involved with the racketeering with CCSU. This is interbranch racketeering, falsified police reports, forging names, switching names of officers, even departments, even switching arresting officers' names. These are people have to lie to presidents, even if they're involved with parts of it. See, because they have state police all along through time, a whole bunch of FBI, their family members, involved as degenerates, worse than degenerates. Now, see, then you guys pretend, we have to pretend integrity because then we're going to have trade center agreements about private contracts. We never had, you can't defend American history if you don't talk about how our founders didn't have free speech. They want it like this to us. They want us to demonstrate. George Washington chopped down the fake branches, but he didn't finish. So he did not chop them down too, because he didn't have free speech too. He didn't have free speech. You can't have free speech on a pigeon, even. Can't fit it. Can't fit it. This is a trap. Modern nations. Excuse me, semi-ancient nations before this. So they want us to fight with names and things like that and not deal with premise treatments proper. They want to make one, there's one premise that, that's just rhetoric. So that's why we need to have pseudo rhetoric discern distinctly and non-distinctly from rhetoric, because we have self-valued criminal insidiousness nature. It's nothing personal against the sexual groups. These are strangers that bring that up when they start making confessions, when they're in the way of mandated law, when they're involved with acting illusions, passions, and emotions because they're being coached to it, because the interbranch needs to pretend things tied to their roles with the vertical and horizontal database racketeering, fake recorded things into databases, not just with the Trade Center attack context. These are further the investigators into things like that. What I'm saying now, involved with racketeering, further mail crimes, Trade Center racketeering acts, whole wire crime methods, mail crime methods. A whole bunch of people are from UPS. Also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with and demonstrably involved with behavior racketeering. I didn't go there to work. I went there and I won't sue. I'll sue that they won't get sued to force them to say the truth now. What's actually recorded because they're tied to a Joshua Stryker, a Joshua Julian, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with intercampuses, intercities tied racketeering method roles, using the confessions to know vertical ones, horizontal ones. They even switch. They even have Joe Aiello recorded, confessed, and demonstrated, coached to online evidence racketeering, where they make them, where they influenced him to switch names, forge names, roles, clicks, and rolls with that with his statements or someone pretending to be him on Facebook. This is also the police recorded, confessed, and demonstrated that interbranch. They use their Facebook page for identity thefts, identity racketeering, identity frauds. These are the same people tied to a whole bunch of people tied to the Yagman family, Joe DeMoro involved with timed these are people that consciously steal from other people to pretend they had conversations with other people, call other people liars to pretend they had a conversation with them. And then these are people going raised interbranch. We have prosecutors criminally foreign influence originally and still delusions raw. Sicker than overt criminal enterprises, recorded how motivated to and needing to had the same sick wage shifts with them, the same finite, active, progressive, and worse identity racketeering roles in nature's needs in life. People all along state that root start with tied to the Oliveri family, also tied to these cliques with Trinity College intelligence community, UConn intelligence community, policing on and off campuses connected criminal uses of campuses through time. This is vertical, horizontal database racketeering. Do little tricks with Debbie Gold and with see with Debbie Gold and the Gold family, former Mayor Gold, other retired and standing mayors, intercities, other retired and standing police chiefs. Former director of the FBI, Robert Luskin. These are sequence shifts with you guys. That's not politics, Mr. Axelrod. That's not politics. That's not military. That's criminally foreign influence. You guys fake sides, Russians and Americans. Oh, we're just trying to divide them. You guys look over here. We have criminally foreign influence forsaken, individually grouped and together on a mass scale. The suburbs, let alone what is unfathomably unacceptable. And we're not going to accept it because we have free speech. That's why you need to get the media off my name. CCSU is involved with a whole bunch of racketeering, with election racketeering, with you guys also recorded with the racketeering method. You're preventing free speech to demonstrate from recorded because you are racketeering with judges now. So they don't have various natures of court on off their state judicial branch offices. So in other words, we need the attorney general. We need federal stewardships of Connecticut, interstates, because you guys have a whole bunch of states and other nations involved with you criminal here, with the uses of forging names, switching names, fake attaching little kids to fake locations, exploiting that through time. I just remind what you guys are doing with the malls and stuff, making me draw out these maps to get you to one name and sequence into branch. Let's go and get down. I'll gather round. Get them to one name and sequence. WFSB, fix the fake news. CNN, give up your sources. Record and confess and demonstrate various natures of nations. A whole bunch of people on off Fox Connecticut. Two Mendez police. Forging names, switching, pretend things recorded. Pretend me to a conversation with a Janito Mendez. Never had a conversation with my life. These are people that walk by you, but then they take a picture and they pretend they know you criminally. Because his brother, too, Eric Mendez, him and them, interbranch racketeering with evidences, falsified police reports rolls, with police reports worse than just intercities and interstates. These are a whole bunch of people tied to it. Fire departments in New Haven FBI on off that location, on off Fox Connecticut News, the location next to it. The place is a whole bunch of houses on Two Rod Highway, and they're stacking names. Like you have to pretend you have to. I had no conversation. I didn't even hang around with the person who came with my age, 2 houses down with me, and his cousins. I never saw him and his cousins. I never hanging around. I never hung around with them. And his friend Joe DeMore, one of the ones from Weathersfield, recorded, confessed, to demonstrate. Also, his cousin Joe DeMore, Tony DeMore, a whole bunch of people associated with Town Line Drive Mobile Another mobile on the South State Highway. Businesses around those locations involve racketeering with the Dillon family, with judges retired and standing in foreign and domestic families. They have shared policing of stores. They have recorded, confessed, and demonstrated racketeering uses of DACA with other nations. Now, see, they make those confessions because they want to keep themselves in trouble at this. They want to get caught because then they can get away. But that's how the devil lets them, or the proverbial devil, the racketeering method. Their motivations are juxtaposed. They didn't want to do what they had to do. They had to hide the roles with the Trade Center attack, fake sides. What's of value is that the first part of the Quran doesn't get free speech allowed to teach about it. What's of value is that the first part of the Old Testament doesn't get allowed free speech to teach about it. They use each of these identity of the ground, pretend mandated law means ask the guy you know. It's who you know, not what you know. With free speech, you go into these courts, they're forging names, switching names, and making confessions, and then they're just stacking fake things recorded into databases. That's in other words, their real motivations, natures, needs, and interests are recorded also. All we need now is mandated law. And we need not to have that pretended it's politics. And we're going to have to need we're going to need the criminally foreign influence zoning laws and physical delusions into science and exploitations of that, and pretending to be care, pretending to be righteous justice, juxtaposed lie progression, misprision criminality focused on our urban areas, especially. We're going to admit this, not by accident, which is a tactically denatured relationship to nature, self-value, where it can only cause negative value nature progressions too many ways. Praise. See, we're too, everyone say, oh, we're going to just do this for now. They forget about progressive. Oh, it's just best politics. It's this side of that. Oh, it's war. They don't care about war. It's a war. They care about it because, in other words, it's easy negative value nature. They're only positive through content. These is criminal and seditious nature maintain effectively racketeering method maintain self-value by and as modern nature suits and ties. They have no integrity. Why? They can do good math. You're going to discern the difference. How the predicate act of the law and how the predicate of English, for example, are both simultaneously, distinctly, and non-distinctly connected to the same identity of value progression, the identity the sciences share. These aren't just words. You can't even just speak, and then we're going to discern how they're using, how we have evidence reception and perception, formally criminally foreign influence. Victim predators, the same way the overt criminal enterprises are. Now, these are force sustained racketeering methods because they're on off crimes too, crime rules, especially with psychology, and especially how they name stack. Whole bunch of fake conversations. You cowards need to get one name, have them pick one name in sequence. This Leahy family, I never had a conversation with any one of them in my life. A whole bunch of men and women involved with that family, and as that family, with a Lombardo family, with other houses in my area, involved with racketeering with kids, with FBI, CIA, foreign and domestic military, racketeering acts roles, mail crimes, wire crime, forging names, switching names, criminal uses of the Eastern States Narcotic Task Force, and collusion with other natures of racketeering associated with child sex offenders campuses that also show how they're connected because everyone's speaking to one another. We have a Dillon family. We have various natures of courts and police forms associated racketeering roles and uses of these identity ground locations. My new and past neighbors, a whole bunch of people with them involved racketeering with Alina's Pizza and sexual circles with police forms that were trained through CCSU that are involved with racketeering further with child sex offenders, even medical doctors and judges attaching little kids to fake locations through time. These are a whole bunch of police forms associated interbranch with East Hartford through time, for example. in other cities from my as the ones involved with racketeering with my town into branch. I don't know if they're state prison officers, I don't know if they're state judicial branch officers. Now this is serious news, and we have them pretending to be against things like hate. Oh, that's hate. They're using the algorithms and sensibilities towards that and stuff like that. Fake, in other words, all emotions are passions. Emotions and passions are positive one way, or they're negative in relationship to another nature, of course. In other words, a value progression system. Now, this is the identity that is simultaneously, distinctly, and non-distinctly the answer slash yes to all questions, and which is its identity of relationship to the three natures of volume that are in our range as the inherent, active, and progressive. And as the value of the sequence, nature true. And as value further beyond this, as identity is complete, identity of value, and to itself. This is where each complete identity. Why is each individual nature of volume? Because this is where we could still be a complete nature to have more of it made, but it can't make more of itself unless we're using its scores that's also positive onto itself in relationship to Earth, simultaneously distinct and non-distinct relationship to the near rest of space nature, where it's more positive here. That's getting pushed away because we're no longer forever nature that is also positive on, its identity of relationship to itself that reveals evolution's fruits and gifts one way redeems. I shouldn't have to beg. You need to get, the New Britain Superior Court recorded, confessed, and demonstrated a whole bunch of men and women associated with racketeering with kids. They use crime methods with other courts. They know you're going to be forced to go in there. They know they can pretend to perceive things and pretend things recorded into databases. They are doing and have done that. These are sicker than most overt criminal enterprises actors. They are also recorded how he kept needing to hide the same finite, active, and progressive lies with them. There are a whole bunch of people with a using the name through time of a Joey Quest, and that use my name. These are undercover people involved with actual racketeering, with mail crime, wire crimes, and crimes with child sex offenders, identity theft, sequence shifts. These are people racketeering roles and uses of their witnesses as the Trade Center investigators, as people that investigate allegations of corruption, like with all things tied to interbranch, like the prisons. They're also recorded involved racketeering with their worst patients and criminals before they were in there. They're already involved. They're already involved with the principal sex offenders campus then and now, with further child sex offenders tied to the policing again of the colleges and universities and down. See, it's easy for a guy who has a title as a military guy and stuff like that from the background to be a sick creep punk. If you want to have real integrity, respond here for your roles with the military associated with Town Line Drive, then all along it, and with the interbranch, forging names, switching names, steal my identity. Where's this Robert? Where Schedule live? Where does this just Casper live? Get hit. Don't pretend he had one word or conversation with me his entire life. I had nothing to do. I never had a class with him. I never hung around with him. Now he's also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved men and women with the New Haven FBI. Whole bunch of people with, the former director of the FBI down. So it's Chicago FBI too, isn't it? You guys have problems with especially if you make it up with the gun problems, because you have real problems going on and you have no integrity, and you have those people pretend you have integrity. Now you have to speak for yourselves, because they're using their recorded, confessed, and demonstrated, communicated to me that they use those courts to fake recorded things, and they've been doing it through time, attaching little kids to fake locations. These are the people further involved, racketeering roles and uses of each age of campus, from Offutt, regardless if they're their employees. We're going to deal how it's from off it because they're trying to duck behind the identities of defending themselves. That's how they're doing with the private too. We're going to show misprision, individually grouped and together, how you guys are sick. Follow, and you guys lying about my YouTube value. You guys pretending that's real. Talk about behavior. You gotta talk about behavior, but sequence true. You child sex offenders right through administration. You have nothing of credibility with your databases to use for evidences. You have racketeering rules also with these clicks with the child sex offenders, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated racketeering with a whole bunch of nations right from the transition from Alca to Rico. You're giving more and more headaches. When we have forsaken New York, get ready, because you had no representation. We will discern how they are pretending not to realize how they are using truths as lies. Arise! I'm not judge. I'll delineate the delusions from the criminally foreign influenced fact cheating nature originally instilled. When every time they speak, you can see it. You can discern it. Get them to one name in sequence. They're forging names, switching names. They know that they can just do all kinds of sick criminal things, and uses of those locations is actually recorded. They know they don't allow speech, and they know what speech you make. They're going to lie around. They're going to attach lies to it, whatever truth you say. They're going to pretend you're lying. They have set up and they set up to further themselves exceptions to exploit, pretend not to realize. Not really simple. They use hypotheticals with their physical delusions and criminal foreign influence. It's not personal. That's recorded. Those are the people involved with a whole bunch of state police forms too. State police, their family members, their daughters and such, involved with the police forms in my area. The little kids of each age. These are how they use the campuses criminally. They're using each age of correlation nature, each age of difference, boys and girls. They use crime methods with this. They use a Debbie Gold, former Mayor Gold, pretending to do conversations with me by getting mad at me out of nowhere. Then you don't know whether it made no sense. Then she goes in and makes it about a fake fight. We had a fake conversation. These are little racketeering roles with the database racketeering, vertical, horizontal, with their roles with congressional racketeering, with lobbyists involved with racketeering before that. Criminally foreign influence lobbying had nothing to do with that. Those are all juxtaposed motivations to pretend. Oh, it's just about money. They need to get caught for things, box things, because they're all tools. Now we say we need free speech. We need the science is liberated here. We need free speech. We have CNN with WFSB with a whole bunch of people, intercities with uses of CCSU involved racketeering with houses in my area, with ones throughout the town involved with it criminally. Now, and they're hiding behind it. So why don't you speak for it? Because you guys are criminal uses of Trinity College CCSU. You're going to bring in all these names of students that you guys brought in playing these games, forging names, switching names, using people interstates with the name Alicia, attaching me to fake locations with them, fake conversation with them. They're hiding, pretending not to realize they're recorded, confessed, and demonstrated since before I heard those people's names. They're already recorded, confessed, demonstrated racketeering roles with a line of confessions that are also criminally hid, leading up to and in the Trade Center attack context. The criminal uses of each of the identity of the ground locations like boxing gyms in Connecticut, recorded, all tied to the racketeering roles and uses of CCSU clicks by various natures of courts, a whole bunch of names associated with them and their family members. No one has time for you games. And that's what it is with you, throwing people's lives in jails. And those jails are recorded, confessed, and demonstrated how they kept needing to hide the same sick natures, actually recorded, sequence shifts, and racketeering with their patients and criminals with the branch. Like the O'Brien family connected, and a whole bunch of other people connected to Sandy Hook, Newtown. involved with the principal sex offender in the interbranch in my town, intercities through time. Again, UConn involved with it criminally. We have sick psychology, a whole bunch of nations of police forms with psychology and badges. They're out of their mind. You watch what they're doing. Get follow mandated law. Part of their extortion, way worse than extortion, torture, for preventing freedom of religion. They have religious nutbags so they can pretend other people that want to have religion sane. They make up things about them. They pretend people, oh, this person's narcissist. That means they have a conversation with you. I have a conversation with these people. They're nuts. Give me a goddamn response and get them to pick one name in sequence, into branch, and out. Out. I want to know why they want to be out. Give me their name. Tell them pick one name and see. Don't be cowards. See, we have coward women into branch because we have coward men. Vaccines again. Please, I don't mean to be aggressive. I'm trying to say, you guys are real with some sick predators. Criminal uses of Facebook by the Britain Superior Court with a principal sex offenders campus that forced him sustained with other sex offenders as the ones involved with UConn, Trinity College, and CCSU. Criminal uses off them from off the campuses. Now, deans, people associated with these courts, their family members, professors, the recorded confessed to demonstrated from off campuses and on campuses distinctly and non-distinctly. How from off campuses maintain collusion with a whole bunch of people from my town who are already racketeering roles with what they further hid, which is lie progressions tied to those vertical and horizontal database racketeering at each of the campuses I went to in my life. All connected, same people. I didn't even know them that back. I don't even know them now, but I researched it. Now there were a whole bunch of people associated on off a web school further involved with the Russians, involved with the racketeering roles and uses of Wethersfield town offices, and a whole bunch of natures of racketeering uses again of Russians involved with election hacks. Town, Wethersfield mayors retired and standing and involved with areas election racketeering already, with states election racketeering already, interbranch family members, criminal uses of the various departments of the campuses also, through confessions also used criminally. They're kids. Rocky Hill High School associated with a I don't want to go into fake conversations with girls for who were in my grade, but I never had a class with them. I had a class with a girl. I never had. She sat a class. I didn't have a conversation with her. A Luigi's sister. That Luigi, a whole bunch of people tied to him. A John Maiano, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated, also involved with a whole bunch of FBI and CIA involved with racketeering with them, and as people involved with the WFSB racketeering acts and methods recorded, and nature's actually recorded. See, criminal and is nature. These are tons of predicate acts, and they're all tied to the ones already stacked with the Trade Center attack. Fake branches crack. Yes. Respond back. Give me a response, Mr. President. Give me a response.